Let's talk about the Georgia-Russia conflict for a second. This top foreign policy advisor, Randy Scheuerman, was a lobbyist for the country of Georgia and made hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is that a conflict of interest?
I don't think so. Look, I know Randy Scheuerman. He's one of the a bright young guy who's one of the leading experts in the former Soviet bloc. He understands Central Europe and Eastern Europe quite well. I don't see it as a conflict at all. No, not at all. In fact, look, if you want to get into that, let's go take a look at the people involved in both camps and find out what their ideological preferences are and what their policy preferences are. You know, Randy Scheuerman has been, over the course of the 90s, working in a bipartisan effort for NATO expansion. During the Clinton years, he was part of a group that led an effort by Republican and Democrat together for NATO expansion, and one of the reasons why he had such strong relations with Georgia.
But you have John McCain coming out hard against Russia. His top foreign policy advisor got lobbyist money. John McCain has talked about not taking lobbyist money and being a different kind of candidate back when he was a maverick, and then now he's got all these lobbyists working for him.
Well, let's not get into who's got the most lobbyists working for him, because remember, I mean, this was Barack Obama's head of his vice presidential selection committee was in essence, an influence peddler in Washington, Jim Johnson. I mean, both campaigns are surrounded by lobbyists. We may not like that, but that's the reality of it. But look at the views. Does Randy Scheuerman's views represent the views of John McCain? You bet they are. John McCain has been, for the last 15 years, an ardent proponent of NATO expansion and a visible skeptic of Russia.
We're going to pick it up right there, the issue of lobbyists, because I know this keeps coming up in the campaign. John McCain wanted to do campaign finance reform. I mentioned his lobbyist on Georgia. He's got Randy Altshuler, founder of Office Tiger, that gets companies to go and do business overseas, like in India. You got Rick Davis, a lobbyist for DHL, who made a deal with Airborne Express to bring DHL in to Ohio, and they lost 8,200 jobs. This has got to hurt John McCain in a general election.
Well, first of all, Rick Davis, I'm not holding a brief for lobbyists. If I ever get to be a lobbyist, do something to me. But the fact of the matter is that let's put it in perspective. Rick Davis's job was to encourage a merger between a U.S. company and a German company and an expansion of their facilities inside the United States. The issue in Ohio is that they expanded the facility and now they're thinking of closing the facility. So I'm not certain that I see it as sort of outsourcing jobs. But look, there are people on both sides of the campaign, on both parties, who are lobbyists. That's the way a lot of politics happens. I wish it were different, but it is the way that it is. So I wouldn't get in there and start throwing mud at McCain over lobby associations without then realizing what kind of lobby associations there are among Democrats, particularly congressional Democrats. I mean, for God's sake, Senator Harry Reid's own son is a lobbyist.